GGHOP is brought to you by Wilson Farm Market. Find them on Facebook. Hello, how you doing? It's the GGHOP with Bill Gant, your host. And today, talking about Trump time. It's time for Trump. And what exactly do we mean by that? Number 47, highlighted in this USA Today article. Will President Trump end daylight savings time? Here's what to know. So, again, let us know down below in the comments what you think about daylight savings time. If you're a fan of the old show, I know last year we definitely touched on it. Not a fan of the daylight savings time, especially in the spring. I'm somebody that has a younger person, so we kind of get in, as far as daylight goes, as it gets closer to March, it gets lighter out. You get down to the bus stop, you can see. Then daylight savings comes and you're back in the dark again for like 6 more weeks. That really sucks. Plus the sleep problems. There's a slew of issues, and we'll touch on that a little bit later. But I always feel too that there's 3 camps when it comes to daylight savings time. One, the people that can't stand it, like myself. The ones that do like it and enjoy it. And then the third group, which cannot be underestimated, it's the people that really don't give a shit and think that either side of us are whining too much. And I understand that, because I think really there should be 3 camps for everything. Because when you have just 2 camps, and you say, well, there's the people that like it and there's the people that don't like it. The people that are for it, the people that are against it. I love it, I hate it, back and forth. You kind of get stuck in that prison of 2 ideas. So there should always be that camp of, I have the right not to give a damn about every single thing out there going on. And I think the recent shift in the culture and things kind of reflects that too. It's kind of nice. So I'm okay with that. And I want to share, before we get into this article, I have recently spoken with, more recently, my first story is someone from Camp It's Good. And that might be you. This person let me know that he really enjoyed daylight savings time. He has a daughter, and when he was a bit younger and she was a bit younger, he was a traveling salesman, kind of spent most of the day kind of gone places, and it was nice to get home and have that extra sun to hang out with his daughter. That's the first thing he said. And then he said also it was good for golf. And I'm thinking that really the latter is probably the more important, the driver, if you will. The driver. Thank you. Thank you very much. So I've met one person who's for it. Then a couple, 2-3 years ago, I worked at a radio station, local radio station, and we were talking about this, and I wrote a song and sang it on the air, and it was called I'm So Fucking Tired. Now, of course, I had to change it for FCC rules to I'm So Freaking Tired. But someone from the community called in, and I think he had a kind of something in the county or something like that, and he'd called in for a different reason anyway. It was kind of like a news program, and I was kind of there as the sidekick fun guy. And so we spoke to him and asked him about it, and kind of explained what I thought. And then he kind of really explained, and really, to put it, really what he was saying was that I was kind of just being a whiny bitch. So I get it if you think I'm being a whiny bitch, but man, I don't like daylight savings time. And dipping into the politics a bit, you always hear about sometimes people are one-issue voters. I could easily be a one-issue voter if it came down to daylight savings time. Just not a fan. So let's check this out here. This article. Will President Trump end daylight savings time? Here is what we need to know. So, if you're tired of turning the clocks back every year when the end of daylight savings time rolls around, you might be in luck. President Donald Trump, number 47, aiming to end that process. He's aiming to end a lot of different things. One in particular lately, which I think this guy, when he says stuff, he does it, and I'm all for it, is the IRS. Maybe they would do a whole other show on that one, but no income tax? That sounds pretty sweet. But this right here, this is speaking right to me, and if you're on my side, you got to love this. So Trump, it was quoted as saying The Republican Party. I won't even try to do. I can't even do a Trump impersonation. It ends up sounding like Marlon Brando, and it's awful. But so the Republican Party going to use its best efforts to eliminate daylight savings time, which has a small but strong constituency, like my friend we spoke to, but shouldn't. And I'm not going to scream into the microphone. And if you're familiar at all with the president's tweeting and typing, man, that guy loves the exclamation marks. That's for darn sure. Daylight savings time is inconvenient and very costly to our nation. Hear, hear. That's what I say for sure. The article goes on to say, when does daylight savings time start again? So it is set for if the Donald cannot axe the tax. No, not axe the tax. That's our Canadian neighbors. Good job up there. Keep going, Pierre. Love that up there. Axe the tax. Now, if he can't axe the daylight savings time, it is going to happen on Sunday, March 9th, 2025. And I am not looking forward to that. I'm hoping that is going to get axed. What have they done to try to do it? Well, they've in the practice of changing the clocks has been a bipartisan effort in Congress for years, the article says. Now, keep in mind, what I'm going to read you, when I first read this article, this is a bipartisan effort to keep daylight savings time and make it permanent, and to keep this all the time. So in 2022, Ed Markey, Democrat, Massachusetts, also U.S. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, a Democrat from Rhode Island, were among several senators to co-sponsor the act filed by U.S. Senator Marco Rubio, a Republican of Florida, which would end the changing of the clocks by making daylight savings permanent. It passed the Senate by unanimous consent, but then stalled out in the House. I remember a couple years ago when that was going on. I think that's when I was at the radio station, and they were talking about that, and I was really unhappy about that. So, just to throw it in as it hits me, if you're one of these people that don't like it, do you ever notice in the summer, like it just doesn't feel like the right time? You feel like it's really more 5 o'clock. It's really more 8 o'clock. This is more of a 7 o'clock feel. Maybe I'm crazy. Well, I think it's much akin to the feel of a Sunday. How Sunday sometimes feels just a little off, a little bit different. Well, so what if, again, this person is number 47 in there, kicking butt and taking names and getting rid of a lot of different things. What if he can't get this done? What if this doesn't happen? So I thought it would be a good idea to at least put up, if you're one of these people, some ideas of how to deal with and cope with the daylight savings time that could be on the way. This article, different publication altogether. This comes from an offshoot of the New York Times, and of course, the New York Times, as you know, very reputable, something you can trust. That's the important thing. Like ABC News, NBC, all those types of things. Mainstream media in general, just really fabulous stuff. But this is an offshoot. This is Wirecutter, and Wirecutter is, I did the wrong one. Excuse me. Let's try this again. There we go. Baby steps. Wirecutter is like an offshoot of New York Times, and kind of like like a quasi, if you're a little bit older, you remember the magazine Consumer Reports. It's kind of like that, but kind of mixed with news and news of the day, and so they kind of work in like products into the stories. That's what I found, at least with this one here. So I thought this one would be fun to go through and fun to poke fun at a little bit. So how to survive daylight savings time. It says the jump to daylight savings times creates a gap between your body clock, which responds to the sun, and your social clock, which is set by humans. This mismatches our biological clock, and our environment leads to a number of non-optimal situations in our health. And so I said I would touch on it later about some of the negative effects of daylight savings time, which are real. If you're trust the science person, here you go. This person, Joseph Takahashi, PhD. This person is firmly, I think, in the camp of getting rid of daylight savings time, because as this person lists here, a number of non-optimal situations, such as let's see, can disrupt after the shift. There's an increase in car accidents, heart attacks, ischemic stroke spike too. Some not even labeled here. Low production at work, digestion problems, but they are all a real effect. I mean, people have done studies, and it seems to be kind of a problem. So that's why too. And again, if you're in the I don't care camp and you're still with us, I really appreciate you hanging through the whiny bitch phase to get to a few jokes. So in the short term, it's simply not pleasant to lose an hour or wake up in the dark and start your day feeling just a bit behind. I hear you there. For sure. The best way to combat the effects of DST, daylight savings time, on your sleep is to have a good foundation. If you have an excellent sleep hygiene leading up to DST, it's easier transition to make. Well, we're going to find out some of these things. Maybe I don't quite have the proper sleep hygiene, but I think I'm not too off from what most Americans and people deal with. So I would have a bone to pick with this one here. The first one, this is I don't know. So okay, let's just adjusting your clock early to make the time jump a little easier on your body. Shift both your bedtime and your wake up time earlier by 15-minute increments in the days leading up to the daylight saving time. I don't know. Can you do that? I think again, I'm sure the hygiene problem. The idea is to have an exact bedtime, an exact time you wake up all the time, even on the weekends. But I think all of us sometimes life gets in the way. Maybe you watched an extra show you didn't want to binge watch. You hung out on YouTube or Rumble just a little too long. You had a weird afternoon. You worked really hard. Something went on. You're exhausted. You went to bed 2 hours before you normally do. I mean, so this thing to kind of like slowly train it sounds like, a good idea, but I don't know. It goes on to say that it also means shifting habits too, like your meal timing. Eating close to bedtime can make it harder to fall asleep. That could be troublesome. The late night snack kind of deal. As the body's too focused on digesting to wind down for the night. Okay, so just finishing your evening meal, these experts say, at least 2 hours before bedtime. So as you're shifting your bedtime up, you should also do the same with your dinner. Yeah, I guess so. Again, I just want to leave the clocks where they are and change nothing. Okay, no problem. Although it may seem like common sense to not consume any caffeine before bedtime, simply skipping your post-dinner espresso. Ooh, New York Times espresso. I like espresso, but okay, little elite there. Studies suggest you should avoid caffeine for a minimum of 6 hours before going to bed. Again, I think most Americans probably take in caffeine much less than 6. I would think, and maybe not. If you're somebody that does that, hallelujah, hats off to you. Then there's alcohol. Not much of an alcohol person here, really. Again, like I would have more trouble with the eating later before you go to bed type of person. I'm more in that boat than the alcohol kind of people. But it says here, alcohol will make you drowsy at first, but can ultimately ruin a good night's sleep. Okay, especially when you're vomiting off your sheets, I suppose. To play it safe, finish drinking several hours before to bedtime, and I think that's a good idea. Get your drinking done, at work before you come home. I think ultimately, so that one could be. I'm good with that one. I like that one. Here we go. Now you're going to see a bit of the Consumer Report side of this and the kind of advertising that goes into like the Wirecutter articles. Turning in early is likely to require some active effort and planning. Okay, we have more difficulty adding to our sleep rather than subtracting from it. Implementing things that will help you relax you as you get ready for bed can help, like a relaxation aid. So a weighted blanket, such as the Barabay Cotton Napper, one of our picks in our weighted blankets guide, can feel like a giant hug, easing you to sleep. Hey, next time you're with the guys, or you're on the line out there at the factory or whatever, take a second and just pause and say, hey, fellas, have you checked out the weighted blankets guide on the New York Times Wirecutter? Man, it's something else. Also, the weighted blanket thing, I am not a fan of. And I don't want to get off into the whiny bitch of that, but I've never been to Bangkok, but I have the feeling those weighted blankets are about the weight of like some chick boy, and it feels like a person sleeping on top of you. I don't get it, how that is comfortable at all. It goes on so to say, A white noise machine, racist, such as Wirecutter's top pick, the Electrofan EVO masks intrusive noises that keep you awake. I just use a regular fan, a Chinsiaz fan that I do keep clean. I'm not clean the fans once in a while, so I'm okay with that. White noise can help, but I don't know how it's going to help me transition through daylight savings time. Yeah, I'm going to skip past the heating pads. I don't know about all that. Controlling the light and the temperature. What do we got? One down here. Again, I've gone through this. A smart thermostat. Again, it's kind of a reach. Working on wake up. Here's one. Work on your wake up call. So the human body is cued to rise with the sun. Only now the sun will be coming out an hour later. But maybe number 47 will finish it off. To combat the groggy darkness of mornings during DST, the best thing you do is get your light into your room as soon as possible. Okay, love to, but it ain't up yet. So you can do this by using a sunrise alarm clock, such as the Wirecutter tested Philips Wake Up Light HF3520, which can shine a dawn-like light directly into your sleepy face. That sounds like a kick in the balls. Moving on from that one, this one down here. If all else fails, push yourself to plant your 2 feet on the ground and get up and turn on the lights. There you go. Pull yourself off by your bootstraps. That's good stuff. Place your alarm clock or cell phone in a spot that is physically forces you to stand to turn it off. Only from the New York Times. This is what gets me, as you know, going through these articles before I do the show here. This one right here, or use an alarm app such as the Sleep as Android app that requires you to perform tasks such as walking several steps before letting you turn off the alarm. Man, if someone would do that to my phone in the morning and I wouldn't know how to shut it off, oh man, I need a new phone. I would destroy that phone. I think most of us. You better be careful. That would be interesting to look into. What other tasks would it make you do? And why would you let that AI device control your life? Don't let it do that. No way. Circadian rhythm one here. Not too much there. This one was mostly about going out and exercising. And this one, as somebody that does exercise regularly, my son and I do get out and do things together and do some jogging and stuff like that. This is really good. I think I agree with this one. So, but again, I exercised for the past few years, and then daylight savings time comes, and I still have a shitty time for about a week, and it's really bothersome, and I still got exercise, so I'm not really sure about that one, so I'm going to let it go there. So that's about all the time we have for today, but a few things to clean up with and end with. If you don't mind, don't forget to please comment, like, subscribe, especially comment. Let me know about the daylight savings time. Which side are you on? Yay, nay, or I really don't give a shit, Bill. That's fine. Also, I want to remind you, we're sponsored by Wilson Farm Market, the regional favorite that is Wilson Farm Market. Find them on Facebook. And something else, if you like what you hear on here, we'll be putting out more. But also, yours truly has been invited to a lot of fun. The Audio Kitchen podcast on Spotify. This is Gibson Wells and friends having a lot of fun. 3 guys, musicians from the Lafayette, Indiana area, sitting around talking about not just music, not just the business, but other things too. They've covered things like, let's say, I know they did some ghost stories. They talked about different like local legends, things like that. Also covered necrophilia as well. So it is a family. It's something just the whole family can enjoy. And I'm really honored that February 19th, I'm going to be joining the boys around the kitchen table there for Audio Kitchen. And you can check them out on Spotify. Give them a listen. I think they got about 10 episodes under their belt, and they're just getting started, but it's a fantastic good way to pass the time, put it on the background, hang out with 3 musicians, kick it around a bit. Why not, huh? Give it a try. So I am Bill Gant. Thank you for watching and listening to the GGHOP with Bill Gant. I want to leave you with the final things I always like to leave you with. Remember to treat other people how you want to be treated. Lighten the hell up, and now you go make somebody laugh today. Thanks for watching.